Hello, my name is Taylor Pacheco, and I am a staff attorney with Philadelphia Lawyers for Social Equity. In this video, I'll be discussing how to read a docket. So first, let's start about where to find a docket. Let's take a look together. So you can see here, there's a website that you can go to find docket sheets. That website is called ujsportal.pacourts.us. So this is what the website looks like when you navigate to it. At the top, you'll see Common Pleas Courts docket sheets, and this is just for Pennsylvania cases. If you see here, you can search by participant name, and they want you to enter last name and first name. You also have to enter one of these categories at the bottom. It's usually easiest to search by county. So you'll enter the name of the person you're searching for and the county, which would be Philadelphia, and you'll get a bunch of hits. Let's take a look at what comes back when we search this database. So this is what a docket sheet looks like. At the top, it depends on if this is a municipal court or common pleas docket, but you'll see here it'll say either Municipal Court of Philadelphia County docket, or it'll say Court of Common Pleas of Philadelphia County docket. So let's go back and take a look at that municipal court docket sheet. If we look at the top here, we see that they give us the docket number right here in the upper right corner. All cases that are in municipal court will start with this number, MC. All cases that are in Philadelphia will next have 51. 51 is the court code for Philadelphia County. So any case that you search that has a docket sheet for Philadelphia will have that 51 in it. The next part of this number is CR. That just means that it is in the criminal division of the courts. And this section here that you can't see is the individual unique identifier for the docket sheet. So we've just covered this up because this is a real docket sheet. But you can see that this case ends in another 4 numbers. It's from 1999. So an example of what a complete one might look like is MC 51 CR 667924 1991. So we look at this case. We see that below the docket number, they give us the case name. That's Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus whatever the name of the client is. Keep going down. The next section we see is case information. At the top, we see this section says cross-court docket numbers. What does that mean? Very simple. That's just meaning that there is another docket number for this case in the common pleas court. So remember I mentioned before that this is a docket sheet for the municipal court case. There's also going to be a common pleas docket if this case continued up. So the way filing and movement of cases works in Philadelphia, your case gets filed in municipal court. If it keeps going, it moves up to the Court of Common Pleas. So all cases will start with this municipal court number, this MC number, and if they continue, they'll go up to Common Pleas, and they will also get this CP number. Everything else will stay the same. Under this case information section, we also see the judge who was assigned to this case at the beginning. Next, we see something that says OTN. What that refers to is offense tracking number. That's a unique identifier that the police assign to a case. You don't need to know your OTN to find your case. You just need to know pretty much your name and be able to figure out, which case is you from your date of birth, which we'll talk about in a second. But that number isn't the same as the docket number, and you don't need it to find your docket. Next, we see other information, arresting agency. We see the date that this case was filed, the initiation date. Often these are the same. This one refers to the date that the case was filed in court. This one will sometimes refer to the date that the police started the case. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're different. We see the arresting officer here. We don't have their name. We just see it says affiant. That just means witness, the testifying person who says that this information was true. We keep going. This next section, we see status information. This gives us the arrest date and the complaint date. We see what the status of this case is as of now. Now, we noticed from above that this is a 1999 case. This is an old case. It's over. So we know that this case was completed as of 2000. It's no longer active. We see this says migrated cases active. That's not actually true. It doesn't mean that the case is active. It just means that it moved at some point. But this is the date that tells us what the status of the case is as of now. It's completed. Keep going down, we see defendant information. So we see date of birth, we see their city, state, and zip. That's important because sometimes you'll see multiple people have, dockets, sometimes the same name. So that helps you narrow it down. If you see that there are a lot of people with the name of the defendant you're looking for, you can figure out which date of birth matches and make sure you're looking at the right docket sheet. We keep going down. We see case participants. The defendant will be listed here. It'll show what their role in the matter is and their name. Continue on, and we see the charges. So we get some information about the case here. It's a statute description. That tells us what the case was, what the charge was. We see here this was a manufacturing, delivering, or possession with intent for manufacturing or delivering of controlled substance charge. So this was a drug case. We see the statute number here. So we know now where it is in the Pennsylvania Crimes Code, in addition to what it is. We know the offense date, and that matches what we saw above for the complaint date, the arrest date. And again, we see the offense tracking number. Continuing on, we see disposition, sentencing, and penalties. So this tells us more information about what happened to the case. Where did it go? What's its status right now? We see that this case was held for court on January 28th, 2000. So we know that, as we said before, this case did start in municipal court, but it kept going. It moved up to common pleas. So let's take a look at that sheet, the common pleas court for this case, so we can see what happened to it ultimately. So here we go, another docket sheet, same case. This is the Court of Common Pleas of Philadelphia County docket sheet. So we know that this number is going to start with CP and then have your 51 and your CR and your individual docket number and the year. So moving on, we see that the information more or less looks the same, right? Except now we have a new date for completed. It's February 14th, 2000. Keep moving on. Calendar events. We can learn a little bit about what happened to this case. So we see that on June 16th, someone filed for redaction of the charges. That means that they sought expungement. So that was recent, right? That was June 16th, 2017. That's an update on the case. But we want to know what happened to the case way back in 2000 when it was new. We go down here where we went before to disposition, sentencing, and penalties. We see that this case has a migrated disposition. No further information is available. That likely means that the case ended in a conviction and the probation may have been transferred to another county. There are different possibilities for what that means, but we see that the case did finish in the Court of Common Pleas of Philadelphia. Different docket sheets are going to look different, and you're going to see a lot of different information. That means that it might be different from what you see here. If you have a docket sheet question and you want to reach out to us, that is totally fine. We hope that this video has been helpful to you. If you do have any questions about your docket sheet, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can email us at info@pulsephilly.org. That is info@plsephilly.org. Thank you and have a good day.